Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I like to share any and all things that bring me joy, hence the name Sharelation. This video is about a long weekend trip that I took with two other girlfriends to Barcelona. It was a trip that we had planned 5 years ago, but because of the pandemic, we had to postpone it year after year. But finally, we did it. We took an overnight flight over to Barcelona from JFK, and here we are. Once we landed, it was early afternoon, and we didn't waste any time. We hit the ground running to make the most out of our long weekend trip. So once we got to Barcelona into the city center, we headed to our Airbnb. I was just amazed at the different buildings and architecture around. It was very different from New York City, and since it was my first time in Barcelona, I literally just tried to soak it all in and enjoy the atmosphere and just being in a different place just for a few days. We spent a few days here just sightseeing, shopping, eating, and enjoying each other's company and catching up. So as we headed to the Airbnb, it was a lovely apartment with a full kitchen, washer and dryer for your clothes, and we also had individual beds for each person. In addition, we had 2 full baths, which was nice for 3 women sharing an apartment. I didn't picture it all, but it is a very spacious place and even overlooking the balcony a little bit. So once we settled in, we went to dinner at a place called Catalana, which is quite popular. Waited for a bit, but it was well worth the wait. We had various tapas and drinks and just chatted throughout the night and really enjoyed each other's company to catch up and just finally celebrate the trip that we had planned for 5 years already. So after dinner, we took a stroll through the neighborhood, heading back to our Airbnb because we were quite tired. And of course, we had to stop by to see some of the night scenes of the buildings around, and of course, took a quick peek at Loewe. More on Loewe later. The next day, we woke up bright and early to make good use of our time and made our way over to Park Guell, one of the architectural wonders of Antoni Gaudi. And it was my first time there. Like I said, it was my first time in Barcelona, and so appreciative of my 2 friends that took me around because they've been here before. And I really enjoyed and admired all the details of his designs and his work. And it was such a nice stroll in the park. The weather was perfect. It was about 50, 60 degree Fahrenheit. It was lovely and the perfect little breeze, some sun, not too hot, not too cold. And it was just great just to walk around and experience this beautiful park and enjoy the atmosphere, just to be able to step away from our day-to-day lives and just have a nice weekend stroll around this beautiful city. I loved all the details, from all the mosaic tiles to all the different structures of how he had designed these buildings and these little houses. Again, my first time, so I really would love to go back with my family next time. It was a really great experience, and I'm so glad we did it. It was a great mix of sightseeing, a little bit of shopping, and it was just a wonderful weekend to stroll around and appreciate somebody's creation. So we spent a good morning there, a couple of hours, and took our time walking around and really just appreciating the outdoors and everything that this city had to give. So shortly after this trip, we went for another quick bite and then did a little more sightseeing around the city. Again, it was a really tiring day. I got a good 20,000 steps in every day, but it was well worth just walking around and appreciating the environment. Later the same day, we had a little excursion to a concert hall. This is called the Palau de la Musica Catalana. It was an attraction that one of my friends wanted to pay a visit to because she's never been, and it's such a beautifully designed concert hall. It looked so there's so much to see, like from the ceilings to the stained glass windows. Everywhere you looked, you could see something very interesting and very unique. The pictures really don't do it justice, but we had a great time exploring that as well. One of the highlights of my trip was visiting the famous Sagrada Familia. It is really something everyone must see if they visit Barcelona. The architecture, the details, the story behind it all. It is so amazing, and I'm so glad that I went for this visit and really got to experience looking at it in person and learning about the history behind it and the thought process in the design. I won't ruin it for those that have never been, but I just have to say it's a must-see when you're there. I had the opportunity of going up to one of the towers and walking down from there just to see more details from the top. And as we're walking down, there's so much to absorb. And after coming down from the towers, I was able to see in the afternoon the light kind of shining through the stained glass windows here, and this video really doesn't do it justice. It's one of those things where you really must see and observe for yourself. So definitely a must-do when you're in Barcelona. Another key highlight of my trip was the food. When in Barcelona, you really have to enjoy all the different foods that they offer there, from their seafood to their various different tapas, the meats, the jamon. It was so delicious. Words just couldn't describe it. It was a really fun experience just to go to the various markets and try all the different things that are offered. It was just such a relaxing trip, something that for me, I really needed it to just step away from the day-to-day hustle and bustle of New York and working full-time. This was a really great experience for me and much needed kind of rest. And, for my own mental health, it is really important to just take the time out to take care of yourself. So these are just some pictures that I took while I was in the market and the various restaurants we went to. All the drinks, the food, the appetizers, really soaked it all in and really enjoyed it. And it makes it even better when you have really great company to enjoy it with. After dinner, we strolled through some of the alleys at night just to take a look at all the different buildings and enjoy just what Barcelona has to offer. On the last day of my trip, it was a little bit more than half a day left. We went to the infamous Casa Batllo, and it was another wild experience. I call it wild only because I've just never seen architecture like this. I didn't get a chance to do too much research about Barcelona before I came, but I knew this was one of the famous spots to hit just to see all the architectural designs. Again, listening to the story behind each room and how Gaudi designed it with the thought process that he had, incorporating many elements of nature. And it was just such a refreshing change to what I normally see. And it was so much fun to just soak it all in and appreciate the different colors, the different design elements that you typically don't really see. And it was just really cool to experience it. It really is like an architecture's enthusiast kind of dream come true, just to be able to see all of this in person and really learn about how from many years ago somebody had the thought to even come up with designs like this. So that is it for this video. I thought I would just share a little bit of my long weekend trip over in Barcelona. It was technically about 3 full days, and on our flight back I got to see some cool northern lights right outside the plane. So hope you enjoyed this video and it got a little taste of what I had done over a long weekend. Any questions? Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Stay happy and healthy. Bye.